Hey guys, welcome back. It's Monday, week 8. I'm here for my post VSG surgery update. I'll get right into the stats. My high weight was 284 January of this year, 2017. I started at the UCSD Metabolic and Bariatric Clinic on March of this year, end of March. I was 272. I had to do 6-month nutritionist and physician supervised diet. At the end of that, I was 257. Surgery date was October 2nd, 2017. I was 243.3. Last week at week 7, I was 214.8 pounds, and this week I am 214.2. So it's a 0.6 loss, still a loss, not super surprised. It being Thanksgiving week, I also was a little sick, had a cold. I had, my best friend came in town, which was great. She didn't stop me from eating good or getting my exercise in. It just was a big week of kind of getting out of my routine. So again, it's a loss. It's not my normal 2 to 4 pound loss, but I'm all right with the 0.6 this week. Like I said, I didn't get as much spending as I was getting in. I think I only got two classes on my Peloton in, and I definitely did get my steps in this week. So I'm okay with that. Had way more carbs than I have been eating because of Thanksgiving. And actually, I wasn't even tracking kind of my macros and calories this week on my Fitness Pal. I was terrible at tracking this week, so I don't even know kind of where I was in my protein. So new week, new start. We'll get back on track, and hopefully next week I'll have closer to what I've been losing. So this week I kind of wanted to talk about fears. Like I said, my best friend was in town and we went on a great walk Friday morning. You've seen, if you've been watching my videos, I live kind of right on the beach here in San Diego, and we did about a 5-mile walk early one morning, and we just talked a lot. She's been really supportive, and she just had kind of a lot of really good questions that made me think, stop biting me. Frankie Jean's always biting me. Anyway, she had a lot of questions that made me think, and I think that's what's great about best friends, is that they support you. They may not always agree with your choices, and not that she didn't agree that I should have the surgery. She did, but she was just asking me about where the future, how I was going to be able to, kind of energize and fuel my body, because right now she just she sees the small amounts and sometimes how difficult it is to do activities, and that I don't feel well sometimes. Again, I was sick, so it was a little outlier this week, but she's concerned that, she's the one I did the big hike to, and she wants to make sure that if I decide to do something like that, that I'll be able to do it. She doesn't want me to be limited by the surgery, other than not being able to eat, overfeed myself. And that's a great question. I don't want this surgery to limit those kinds of things. I want to be able to challenge myself to do those kinds of things. And so to get back to my original topic that I wanted to talk about this week were fears, because my immediate fear about the surgery, because I'm not afraid, wasn't afraid of the surgery. I've had surgeries all throughout my life. I'm not afraid of going under anesthesia. I'm not afraid of pain. I have a really high tolerance for pain. But I initially was really afraid due to a conversation I had with my nurse practitioner in my pre-op pre-op appointment. She pulled out 2 pictures of livers. One was a fatty liver and one was a really like clean liver. And she was saying the fatty liver was a picture of a patient that they did their pre-op liquid diet, only lost about half the weight that they wanted him to lose, and they proceeded with the diet and proceeded with the surgery, and they went in with the laparoscopic tools, and they had to abort the procedure halfway through because it just was a poor operative field. Liver was too fatty, hard to retract, and then they, pulled out the tools and woke him up after in the PACU and said, "I'm sorry, we couldn't do the seizure." I would flip out if that happened. That was my one fear. And I was like, do not have me fly my mom out here to take care of me, put me under anesthesia, then wake me up and say we couldn't do it. Like, tell me the day before, tell me 30 minutes before. I mean, I would be pretty pissed if you told me 30 minutes before, but do not put me under, wake me up and say we couldn't do it because the liver or whatever. I was so afraid that was going to happen. I could handle pretty much anything else. I mean, terrified that was going to happen to me. Then my more extended fear is that I was going to have done all this work, going to therapy, working on my food addiction, working on my other issues around my weight, having the surgery, working out, working on every day as a battle of, getting your food ready, not obsessing about your food, because I don't want that life to obsess about my food. I understand that you're gonna obsess about it in the beginning because until it becomes kind of muscle memory of how much you can eat and what you can eat and what becomes what. But I obsessed about food before I did this, so I won't obsess about food now. But that it fails, and that I fail, and that I stretch my stomach and go back to old habits and become that person that was so uncomfortable living in her own skin again that I don't want to have that again. I don't want to live that way again. So those were my immediate short term, and then the long term fears that I have. I got through the short term fear. It didn't happen. The surgery was a success. Again, I had very little pain, which I do have a high tolerance for pain. But I want to know what your fears are. What's your short term fear? If you're doing the liquid diet, if you're doing your 6-month pre-op or your 6-month nutritionist and physician supervised diet, if you're thinking about having the surgery, if you're watching YouTube videos to see what it's like, or seeing other people's before and after, and what are your long-term fears? Another fear that I have, that if you watched Bree's video from yesterday, is that in the past I've replaced my food addiction by turning to alcohol inappropriately. I don't, want to turn to one addiction to replace another. And that's a real fear for a lot of VSGers, I think, or a reality for a lot of VSG patients. So leave comments below, leave questions, leave your fears, and let me know which you struggled with this Thanksgiving. Also, what were your highs this Thanksgiving? What was your favorite part of your meal? And if you didn't get to see your family, did you have a good Friendsgiving? Because I didn't get to see my family this year, but I had great friends around, and I missed out on my favorite meal, part of the meal. My dad makes a sweet potato souffle. That's my favorite, but I did have great turkey that I went over to my friends Stephen and Christina's, and Stephen made a great turkey and had a great dressing. So what was your favorite part of Thanksgiving, and what are you looking forward to in the more holiday season? Y'all don't get to see Teddy Bear very often. Here's Teddy Bear. It's so cute. Anyway, again, thank you for always watching. If you're new to my channel, hit like, hit subscribe, comment below. Next week will be 9 weeks, closer to the 2-month. And I'll be doing my measurements. I do that every month. I do weigh-ins every week. Suggestions for other types of videos you want to see. That's all I got. Hope you had a great week. Thanks for watching. Bye.